thanks to you, praising your splendid name. But me, who am I? And who are these my people that we should presume to be giving something to you? We are presuming that we are giving you something. Who are we? Who am I? Who are my people? And here he says, everything comes from you. All we are doing is giving back what we've been given from your generous hand. That is all we're doing. Anytime you have the opportunity to give, what you are doing is you are only giving back to what gave you. We only give back. How many of us were born with money? How many of us were born with lands and property and all that? None of those things. We were born naked. And when we are going, we will go the same way. I've never seen anybody who dies and they bury that person with their jet. Nobody's going to bury you in a jet. Whatever we have is God's. I told you the other day that there are banks around the world. In better economies, they have a lot of gold reserves and all that. And they think that this is our money. When God was creating the earth, and when he put resources in the earth, the gold and the silver and the diamond and the bauxite and the iron, which of those countries and the bank governors were following God and planting gold in the ground? Everything we have has been extracted from what God has given. It is not ours. The cattle on 1,000 hills belong to the Lord. He said, silver and gold are mine. They all have a source. Except you don't believe in creationism. Except you think that the world came as a result of a big bang. But if you believe that somebody created this beautiful universe that we are in, that person put in all those resources, and whatever you are privileged to use was given by him. It comes from him. It all has an owner. It has a source. And David said, I am recognizing this, that what I have is not mine, it's God's. It's just simply not mine. It belongs to God. And to give it to God means it's a privilege. Every time it's time to give offering, or it's time to give money to somebody to help an individual who doesn't have, anytime it's time for you to give money to change a situation, see yourself as a mini God, a channel that God is using to be a blessing to a situation. Our giving can change the universe. We don't just give money, we give our talent, we give our time, we give our wisdom, we give everything God has endowed us with. Learn how to release, learn how to give, learn how it flows from you to other people. Don't hold on. Holding on is only a means to die. I told you when I was in school, anytime I taught people what I knew, I excelled. Because in teaching, your knowledge multiplies. But when you hold on, you die with it. You die with it. Let's give. We can only give out of what has been given to us. If you don't have, how would you give? This morning, if I ask us to give money to the work of God, and you're going to come here and give money, would you be giving what you don't have? Because if you don't have it, you will not come forward. Anybody who's going to come here is because they have something, and what you have has already been given to you. You may be thinking it's what was given by your employer. You may be thinking it's because you sold something of yours. But your employer, where did they get the money from? What is the ultimate source of the money? God. The paper that was used to print the money came from God. It came through the trees and all that. The ink, the chemicals, everything. We didn't bring anything here. Nothing belonged to us. We are poor people. We are only privileged, and we have only been blessed by God. So we should be able to be joyful when you're giving. You feel like, hey, it's great. It's awesome that God can use me to give and bless people. People have had their heart affected We live in a generation where people abuse money. There are pastors, there are churches, there are people who are just manipulating people, taking their resources from them, making people feel bad. And because of that, the heart of so many people have been destroyed. We must acknowledge that fact. People are really messing up. But the fact that people are messing up doesn't mean that there is not an original way of giving to God. That we should cut giving all of a sudden. I know people, when you talk about giving to the church, hey, no, hey, look, pastors are abusing people, pastors are using money. Well, it's not every pastor that is doing that. It's not every church that is doing that. Even if there are 100 churches and 80 of them are doing that, there may be 20 that are not doing that. Majority may be doing that, but there's still the minority there, and it casts an image. The reason why we have duplicates is because we have original. So don't let your heart be spoiled, because when your heart gets spoiled and you stop giving, you are only going to die. There are people, they will give money to anything joyfully. When it comes to the work of God, no, somebody will eat the money. They rob themselves. Your heart becomes hardened, and you put yourself in a state where your life is only going to go down and not up. Because the source of that money is God. You cannot become bitter to the point of not giving because some people have messed up. It's because of what you are hearing, the conversation you are having, the environment you find yourself in. Some people get a little resources and they start prospering a little bit, and they find themselves in a small group of people, of selfish, greedy people, and they start talking about, hey, our money will not go into this. Look at what they are doing. And they stop giving. But within the group, they know what they use their money for. Their money can go for anything, but not the way. Where were you when God was creating the earth? When you were poor, where were you? You only come to that point because you have money in your pocket. And the moment you have money in your pocket, you think you are everything. Check with children. You can have sweets in your hand, candies. And you call children and you give them the candies, you give them the sweets. And the moment you give it, you now ask them, can you give me one? And what do? No, it's mine. No, it's mine. I just gave you the sweet. No, it's mine. When a child behaves like that, you know that they are in trouble. They are inward looking, selfish, concentrating on themselves. You were just giving. So what you don't know is when you finish eating the sweet that is in your hand, I have a lot in my pocket. So if you said no, take what you have, but finish it, and that's your end. The one that says, okay, here you go, take one. I say, oh, how sweet of you. And I put my hand in my pocket and say, take more. I think that is how it is with God. Some of us are, no, because you have a little bit. And you have developed all your ideas. You know, your ideology will determine your theology. The moment you have mindset about something, you get poison about something, all of a sudden, everything goes wrong. Everything is wrong. Because your mind is already affected. Check your heart. The Bible says we should check our heart because it's deceitful. Don't let your heart lead you. Lead your heart. Because your heart will lead you to evil. But when you lead the heart, tell the heart where it must go. That is what we should do. Giving is important. The benefit of giving here and now. Generous giving produces financial harvest. Anybody who gives generously, they are making room for more to flow through them. It's a principle. 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 6 to 11 from God's Word translation. This is what it says. Remember this. The farmer who plants a few seeds will have a little or very small harvest. But the farmer who plants because he has received God's blessing will receive a harvest of God's blessing in return. Each of you should give whatever you have decided. You decide based on your knowledge and understanding of